After using this absurdly strong DPS build to become the 40th team in the world to beat the new Salvation's Edge raid on contest mode difficulty, I realized that I needed to share it with you all as soon as possible. This one is incredibly broken for boss DPS, along with A+ ad clear and the perfect blend of survivability. In fact, over 70% of players that beat the raid did it with some version of this build equipped. By far, the most important part of this build is our choice of exotic armor, Celestial Nighthawk. Celestial Nighthawk combines our 3 Marksman Golden Gun bullets into one super-powered shot that deals 625% increased damage, which is not only 72% more total damage than just shooting the 3 shots normally, but also occurs in 1/3 of the time. We will also have a way to increase the damage of our Celestial Nighthawk even further with another piece of this build coming later in the video. This exotic also has the important additional effect of refunding 1/3 of your super. This strongly encourages us to be using our Celestial for one-shotting subjugators and tormentors throughout encounters, generating a lot of orbs of power for our teammates and quickly allowing us to build another super to do it all again. But the most important part of our Celestial Nighthawk setup today is the overpowered synergy it has with the newest solar exotic sniper rifle, Still Hunt. Still Hunt has a meter at the bottom left called Cade's Retribution that you can charge by hitting precision shots with Still Hunt or by picking up orbs of power. Each precision shot landed grants 1/6 of the meter, and each orb grants 1/12 of the meter. Once you have a full Cade's Retribution meter, holding the reload button will convert this weapon into its Golden Gun mode, which synergizes with Celestial Nighthawk to combine what would be 3 bullets into 1 bullet with a 565% damage buff. And what's absolutely nuts is that you can spam this non-stop during a boss DPS phase as long as you continue to land precision hits to build the meter, resulting in some phases where you can shoot off 5, 6, even 7 Celestial Nighthawk Still Hunt shots. But real quick, let's switch gears and talk about why this build is also one of the best at surviving Salvation's Edge or any dangerous activity in Destiny, with our first aspect, Stylish Executioner. On a final blow of a target afflicted with any elemental debuff, it grants us invisibility for 8 seconds. And this effect only has a 2-second internal cooldown on invisibility activations, so we want to make sure that we have a lot of methods for debuffing enemies, which is exactly why we want to go with Winter's Shroud on our second aspect, which will slow all nearby enemies on class ability activation. Winter's Shroud also gives us high damage resistance for the duration of our dodge, which along with some of our later selections will enable our dodge to serve as the most effective survival tool in our arsenal. And obviously, after we slow everything nearby, we can then kill those enemies to activate Stylish Executioner, which will actually be on an incredibly low cooldown due to how fast our class ability will be regenerating with one of our upcoming fragments. For our melee ability, we'll be choosing the surprisingly impressive Threaded Spike Strand melee. This melee tracks onto enemies when you throw it out, chaining between up to 9 enemies and severing everything it hits for 10 seconds, causing them to deal 40% reduced damage and activate our Stylish Executioner. It also returns to you after chaining between all available enemies, refunding you a sizable amount of energy for each enemy hit by the Threaded Spike. Additionally, this melee ability has another interesting mechanic, as if you reactivate your melee ability when it returns to you, you'll catch the spike, almost tripling the amount of melee energy refunded to you. After hitting only 3 enemies, you're getting 70% of your melee back, 85% on 4 enemies, and 100% of your melee fully refunded when hitting 5 or more enemies. It's also important to remember that this melee's ranged capabilities allow us to use it when we're doing DPS, which will become very relevant later due to some of our upcoming fragments. And because of how strong Threaded Spike can be, we're going to be using Gambler's Dodge for our class ability for a full melee refund when activated near enemy targets. As far as our grenade options go, we have two excellent options to choose between with the Duskfield Grenade and the Grapple Grenade. They both share a lot of utility and having very low 40 to 45 second cooldowns with 100 discipline, and both being able to debuff groups of enemies with slow and freeze or unraveling for our stylish executioner. However, generally speaking, Duskfield Grenade is going to excel at locking down one or more annoying enemies, such as in the Herald encounter, and Grapple Grenade is a very convenient movement tool for doing mechanics like in the Witness encounter. Depending on what your role is and what activity you're doing, I recommend you swap these two grenades in and out as much as you see fit. With these abilities, we can essentially debuff anything, anytime we want to with a darkness debuff, and there's a very important reason why we've set that up. Due to our first fragment, the Facet of Courage, where we will be dealing an additional 10% ability damage with our true Celestial Golden Gun whenever we hit a target afflicted with a darkness debuff. This is what takes the damage of our super to be the highest DPS super in the game, so you should always be throwing your Duskfield Grenade or Threaded Spike melee at a boss to take advantage of this. And this gets even crazier with our next fragment, as in fragment slot number 2, we have the Facet of Dawn, which grants us the Radiant buff for 25% bonus weapon damage whenever we hit something with Threaded Spike, and Radiant to our entire fire team on Threaded Spike or Grapple Grenade melee kills. But the part that makes this absolutely broken is the fact that this effect stacks with both Celestial Nighthawk and Facet of Courage, granting us 823% bonus damage to our Super Golden Gun and 681% on our Still Hunt Golden Guns. And what's absurd is that this is going to go even higher with one of our upcoming armor mods. Before we get there though, let's talk about our third fragment, the Facet of Hope, which grants us 60% faster class ability recharge whenever we are in possession of an elemental buff, such as Radiant from our Facet of Dawn or invisibility from our stylish executioner aspect. This supports the significant survivability that our class ability grants us from things like Winter's Shroud, Gambler's Dodge, and Threaded Spike. In fragment slot number 4, we'll be going with the Facet of Protection, because who wouldn't want 15% bonus damage reduction when you're surrounded by enemies, especially considering it stacks with all of the damage reduction from Winter's Shroud and from the upcoming armor mods coming soon. Finally, in fragment slot number 5, we are rocking the Facet of Purpose, granting us a defensive buff based on the element of our super whenever we scavenge an Orb of Power. Because we're using Golden Gun, this will grant us restoration for 5 seconds on Orb of Power pickup, which is very nice for getting our health back on demand with this build. As you're about to see, we have a ton of synergy with picking up orbs on this build, so we want to make sure we have a lot of ways to make them. But before we talk about how we're going to make those orbs, it's crucial to mention that because of the incredible DPS from just using our Celestial Nighthawk Golden Gun and our Celestial Nighthawk Still Hunt, we're actually able to run a heavy machine gun for amazing ad clear without any downsides. Some of my personal favorite ones are Commemoration from Deepstone Crypt with Free Construction and Killing Tally, and Fixed Odds from Duality with Field Prep and Incandescent. You'll want to make sure to pair the element of your machine gun to the Siphon mod on your helmet so that you'll be making an Orb of Power on every 2 kills that you get with it. For the other mods on our helmet, Hands On can be very nice to speed up our supers on Threaded Spike or Grapple melee kills, with a second copy increasing the energy gained. Alternatively, you could go with a special ammo finder instead of the second copy to guarantee that you are always at maximum Still Hunt ammo. On our gauntlets, a Solar Loader mod for our Still Hunt speeds up how quickly we'll be gaining the Cade's Retribution effect. Heavy-handed allows our Threaded Spike to make orbs, and Impact Induction will be getting us our grenade back even faster on every hit from our melee ability. On our chest piece, we hold 3 resistance mods, and if you're going into Salvation's Edge with this build, I recommend you run 1 Concussive Dampener and 2 Harmonic Solar Resistances in order to survive survive the majority of the hard-hitting attacks in the raid. On our boots, we're going to be running triple Solar Surge, and these affect both the basic form of Still Hunt and the Cade's Retribution Golden Gun damage. With Radiant and Celestial Nighthawk, this gives our Still Hunt 803% bonus damage, only a tiny bit less than our super at 823%. This means that we'll effectively be shooting a full damage Celestial Nighthawk with Still Hunt every single time we hit 6 precision shots or pick up 12 orbs of power. And in order to simplify this process, the most important mod we can run on our class item is Powerful Attraction, which picks up all orbs nearby whenever we use our class ability. And from this simple class ability activation, Powerful Attraction will activate Facet of Purpose for restoration, progress the Cade's Retribution Golden Gun meter, and additionally grant us Radiant from the artifact mod Radiant Orbs. Some other good mods on the class item are Time Dilation for 5 extra seconds of armor charge, and Bomber for 12% of our grenade whenever we dodge. Once you get extra comfortable with the cadence of the build, however, you can upgrade the setup to be able to do the highest DPS rotation in the entire game. For this, you'll modify your boots mods to omit one of your solar weapon surges in favor of a solar weapon holster, along with bringing a reconstruction and explosive light Apex Predator rocket launcher into your heavy slot. For the combo, you'll activate the Still Hunt Golden Gun, then immediately activate your Golden Gun Super, shooting both one after the other. Following this, you'll fire 5 shots from your Still Hunt, getting your Cade's Retribution meter 5/6 of the way full. But instead of reloading and then firing the 6th, you'll instead swap to your rocket launcher to shoot your 2 rockets, allowing the solar holster mod on your boots to reload your Still Hunt in the background, giving you a shot in the magazine when you swap back to it after your 2 rockets to get your final shot before popping another Still Hunt Golden Gun activation, refilling the mag to 6, and repeating the process. Here's what the combo looks like at full speed. So now that you've mastered all the buffs you'll need to gain that 800% infinite Golden Gun with Still Hunt, while having a build that manages great ad clear and amazing survivability, you're prepared for the entirety of Salvation's Edge. All that's left to do is check out the written guide in the Mobalytics link down below, inside of which I have also included a Destiny Item Manager link that you can use to automatically equip all of this to your Guardian with just a few clicks. Make sure you also check out my Salvation's Edge raid guide so that you can perfect every raid mechanic and use this build to its maximum potential. I'll see you in the next build video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.